Words are magical. They carry a hidden power that can create new worlds of knowledge. Each word is like a mysterious seed. When planted in the soil of the mind, it takes root and grows into a mighty tree of wisdom. True research begins with this very magic. The moment a spark of a word lights up in the darkness of thought and slowly takes the shape of a question. A question that can shape the path of an investigation, open a new window to truth, and lead you on an endless journey through the land of knowledge. Welcome to the NextSciPaper channel. In our previous session, we talked about the basic format of a scientific paper and learned that its core structure includes introduction, methods, results, and discussion. But a scientific paper is not limited to these four sections. It also contains other parts, such as keywords. Before anything else, we need to understand what keywords mean in scientific papers and how they can serve as the starting point of research. Naturally, every scientific text begins with words, and our very first tool for starting research and searching is those words. If you remember, in the pre-research course we mentioned that the very first step in any study is the formation of a question. That is the first step of becoming a researcher. When a question arises, how do you look for answers? For example, you might want to learn about cancer cells, or you may have a question about how economic banks are managed. Naturally, you begin your search with the words in your question or title. But where? If you are not a student, you might turn to Google or even AI tools like ChatGPT. But as a student who wants to grow into a researcher, you take the keywords extracted from your question and search them in citation databases or scientific journals. This shows us that every paper or study includes keywords that highlight the focus of the research, and they accompany us through every step of the research journey. In this session, we want to explore the chain of how a study takes shape, a chain that is deeply tied to the concept of keywords. Now, imagine you are a new master's student. You've just entered university. Everything feels unfamiliar, and even the word, paper, has never really meant much to you. Suddenly, you find yourself in an environment where everyone is talking about research, scientific articles, and the latest published studies. Each person has a topic, each has read or written a paper, and you feel like you know nothing at all. You sit quietly in a corner and ask yourself, why did I choose this field? What am I really interested in? What is my discipline, anyway? Gradually, the answers begin to appear. You say, my field is exercise physiology. I chose this discipline because the health of myself and my community matters to me. Exercise leads to health, and physiology means understanding how the body works. So this field can, and must, explain part of the body's health, for example, the heart. This is exactly the starting point of research. Those simple words that came out of your mind are, in fact, keywords. Without even realizing it, you've already reached several major keywords: exercise, health, heart. Now it's time to take those keywords into scientific databases. Citation indexes and academic journals are like vast libraries holding millions of papers. You enter your keywords, and suddenly you are faced with hundreds or even thousands of articles. You begin reading some of them. Along the way, your keywords become more specific. For instance, exercise was your initial keyword, but now you ask, which type of exercise? Perhaps resistance training. Then you ask, which health factor? Blood health. And again, which physiological part of the heart? The valves. The process continues. You return to the databases, this time with more precise keywords. Now your questions are sharper. Which resistance exercise? Sprinting. Which blood health factor? Blood pressure. Which part of the heart? The mitral valve. Each time you read a paper, you discover new keywords. These words are like lights illuminating your research path. Soon your keywords become very specific. Sprinting, blood pressure, mitral valve regurgitation, middle-aged men. These are the magical words that emerged from the larger ones and now guide you toward a clear research topic. Eventually, you arrive at a precise research title, investigating the effect of sprinting on blood pressure in middle-aged men with mitral valve regurgitation. From this moment, the practical phase of research begins. The study is designed, data are collected, results are obtained, and finally the paper is submitted to a scientific journal. We always begin research with keywords. They guide us step by step toward a research title. But reaching a new title is not the end of the road, it is only the beginning. From this point, research processes take shape and the study enters its execution phase. The important point is that the initial question we started with does not always remain the same until the end. Sometimes, during the study and writing of the paper, everything changes. The original question is refined, the research path takes a new direction, and even the results lead us to new questions. These changes are a natural part of the scientific process. When the writing of a paper is finished, authors read through their text once more. At this stage, they select a group of words, usually 3 to 6. These words have the strongest thematic connection to the research and are repeated most often throughout the paper. That is why they are known as keywords. Keywords are, in fact, the essence and representation of the entire paper. They reveal the direction of the author's research and show exactly what the article is about. For this reason, authors place them on the very first page, forming a link in the chain of scientific inquiry. Another researcher, while searching with their own keywords, may come across your paper. They pass through your research and discover more specific keywords within it. These exchanges are what tie the threads of science together. Each paper becomes part of another, and the chain of knowledge grows more complete with every step. All of these chains are connected by words, by keywords. This is where the real magic happens. The magic of words that link minds together, connect brains into a vast network, and push human knowledge forward. Each keyword is like a new ring added to the chain, making it endless. Imagine millions of minds across the world, without ever knowing each other, bound together by these small words. Each study becomes a bridge between one idea and another. This infinite network is the chain of science itself, which grows brighter, wider, and more astonishing with every keyword. In the end, all of us become part of a greater whole, a whole called human knowledge. Isn't it remarkable that such greatness begins with just a few simple words? Does the story end here? No, let's briefly review some of the important applications of keywords in scientific papers. First, keywords help researchers easily find related articles in databases and search engines. Second, well-chosen keywords act as free promotion for authors, increasing the visibility of their work and reaching the right audience. Third, keywords are a tool for organizing and categorizing scientific articles. Fourth, they can serve as the basis for future analyses of topics and research trends. And most importantly, keywords help identify relationships between different papers, creating an interconnected information network we call the knowledge chain. Thank you for staying with us until this point in the video. If this structured and purposeful content has been useful to you, and you want to continue your journey toward becoming a professional researcher and academic writer, follow our channel and hit the notification bell so you'll know as soon as each new episode is released. Remember, the magic of words doesn't end here. We are only at the beginning. Every day we take another step closer to our research goals. Now it's your turn. Start, and add a new ring to the chain of knowledge.